I got my kitchen, living room, bedroom over here, bathroom here, closet and entry there. Not much now, but I plan to build a rock climbing gym in here. So we'll see how that turns out. Just above the bedroom door, I've hung a fingerboard trainer so I can practice pull-ups and do some finger strength training. So let's take a look inside the room. What I've done here is combined a living room and my bedroom into one. I have the couch over here, the bed, and the entertainment center. On the back wall, I've hung some shelves to hold my books and various items, as well as mounted my snowboard. I have a few more shelves over here. As you can see, I have lots of space to move around. Up here on the ceiling is my Jigsaw puzzle building board. Let me explain how it works. I've attached rope to each of the four corners of the board, and they feed into these eye hooks I've screwed into the wall where they act like pulleys. They come back this way, and I have a couple more on this side here. All the rope joins together down here where it's wrapped around this speaker holder. Here you can see how easy it is for me to lower it off the ceiling. I just unwind the rope, which is held in place by tension, and then lower the board onto my ottoman. I've built one of these before in an old apartment, and I know it can handle the weight of a puzzle, but I'll show it doing so here. This is a 4,000 piece puzzle that I'm about to start, and the board is cut to the size of the puzzle with an extra square inch. To raise it, I just lift the puzzle high and then pull on the slacked rope. Here I can push it higher and pull the rope further to adjust the height. Once it's high enough, it'll be out of the way until I'm ready to work on the puzzle again. This is my right surround speaker, which is a little farther from the left, but I've adjusted the sound output so they match up when you're listening. And here's the front speakers and the TV. So over here is a charging shelf I built, and it's basically just a bunch of USB cables that are hung there so I can easily place my devices on the shelf and charge what I need to. As you can see, I have my helmet charging right now and a couple other devices. This is my kitchen / bike storage area. Unfortunately, my building doesn't really have a proper bike room, and it's just a room at the bottom of some stairs with a bunch of unlocked bikes tossed in there, so I decided to keep my bike in the apartment. I've also gone ahead and built a simple holder for my bike here. It just flips up on a hinge so I can place the bike on it to do some maintenance like work on the brakes or the gears. So you're supposed to latch this into place, but this latch isn't strong enough. I'm actually waiting on a toggle latch to come in the mail. For some reason, Canadian hardware stores don't sell them, so I had to buy it online, and when that comes, that should be strong enough to hold this so it can support my bike. So this is my gym area here. Let me just turn the lights on. So you can see that I've got my Philips Hue system going here, and it's just 3 lights that I've mounted around the living room area. And it gives off a pretty decent amount of light. I might add a 4th, but it's good enough for now. So let me show you my bouldering wall. The first thing I did was learn how to use SketchUp so I could design it digitally first to get a rough idea of what it looked like. As you can see, my original plans had a vertical back wall and a plan allowing crawling through the window space, which I could still implement in the future. I was able to get the right measurements of my apartment walls into the program, but it proved difficult in drawing the correct dimensions for all the 2x4s due to my lack of SketchUp experience. I was able to draw out roughly how I wanted to make the framework and use it as a visual aid while I engineered the wall as I built it. So as you can see, I've got a 15-degree angled wall here, a roof, 45-degree angled wall, another roof, and then a 90-degree wall, and another 90-degree wall with the open area to my kitchen still there to let in light and, make the space more open. Let me show you how the floor works. You just slide down the white pad and the blue pad, push them together, and you have a 12 by 12 floor to softly land on. Normally a crash floor like this costs over $2,000, but using free Craigslist foam and mattresses as a base and buying thin sheets of closed cell foam to throw on top, I was able to build this whole thing for only $300. Here's a shot of the wall from the kitchen. When I designed this, I really wanted to have an open corner here to climb through, and you can see this thing is solid as a rock. Here I'm climbing around on the overhang part with no wobble or any issues at all. And this is the inside of the wall that you can see from the kitchen. But there is a lot of space here, so I may end up doing something with it in the future. Here you can see the T-nuts that litter the plywood sheets to bolt the climbing holds into. There's also some plates and joist hangers visible. You can check out my other video if you're interested in more about how it's built. Inside this part of the wall, I've got some spare wood, which I'll be using to make some volumes to climb on. I've also got a phone wire back here running from the apartment buzzer system to a USB modem attached to my computer in the other room. I've written a script to automate the system so I can buzz myself in with an email in case I lose my keys, or so I can have my friends buzz themselves in. Over here is my 3-position adjustable desk mount. From my years in IT, I know that sitting at a desk all day is bad for your back. I wanted to make a system where I could sit, stand, and lie down to work without having to spend a ridiculous $6,000 on one of those workstation pods. I ended up building a stand that slides along the wall. It's attached to the wall with a couple heavy-duty sliding rails that you can find on pull-out drawers. Then I have some eye hooks with a chain and clips to secure it at the desired height. Here I am lowering the unit with its attached dual monitor stand from the standing position. It lowers perfectly into the seated position. I hate these big exercise balls, but they are much better for your back while sitting on. The best part about this is that my comfortable crash pad sits just below the monitors, which also tilt down. This lets me lie down and work. The monitor arms also swivel in, so everything sits close to the wall when not in use to free up more space. As for the keyboard tray, well, IKEA sells these wall-mounted drop tables. So basically I just copied their design. And then I added this latch here. And this racing stripe here I feel is pretty sharp. So also below the monitors here, you'll see that I have a USB 3.0 extension cable running here, and that's going to my computer in the other room, down through the wall over there. And this is the chain that connects through the ring and clips onto that eye hook over there to hold the monitors up. Also have a Bluetooth speaker up here. It puts out a lot of sound, which is great for listening to music when I work out. So over here, this is my workshop area, and I've basically taken pegboard and put it onto the walls so I can hang all my tools. It's a lot easier for me to get at my tools this way, and I can build stuff a lot quicker. I've got a parts bin organizer here with various size screws and devices that I use for building, and a shelf up here with some more stuff. Down here I've got some spare wood that's left over from building the bouldering wall, and I might decide to build some bouldering holds in the future out of that wood, but I'm not too sure yet if I'll do that. This is my slack line down here. Now right now it's only supported by one stud, but I want to run it across two with a board to give it more support. On the other side is an eye hook, which I can attach to it and then tighten. I'm new to slacklining, so I'm not very good, so I'll need to practice. This is my rope, which I use for getting into some of the more technical trees that I climb. I hope to make some videos of that over the summer. Here I've hung a hammock. The hammock is secured by an eye hook attached to a 2x6 screwed into the ceiling studs. I've positioned it so I can also lie down in it while I watch a movie or use the computer. I've also attached 2 hooks at the top here, which I can loop this rope around to stabilize it, so I'm pointed either at the monitors or the climbing wall in case somebody wants to sit here and watch somebody else climb. Up here I have some martial arts weapons I like to train with, including all my nunchucks. This is a whiteboard I put up to write down ideas or whatever else I want at the moment. These are some resistant bands and a rack hanging various fitness equipment. Down here I've got some power blocks and other weights along with some yoga mats. This is the mirror wall. It's great for making sure I'm using correct form while doing yoga or working with weights. It gives a full view of my workout space even when I'm moving side to side. The wall extends just short enough that it gives me enough room to do skipping, yoga, handstands, and some martial arts training. When I designed the wall, I wanted to make sure that when I trained with my nunchucks, I would have plenty of space to do so and wouldn't hit anything. You can see I'm just messing around here and I have lots of room to move about. So over here, these are my gymnastics rings that I've hung up. And the way I did this is I basically put a couple 2x4s side by side, which are attached to a 2x6 that's screwed into the ceiling. And then I've taken these really long bolts here and put them through the 2x4s so I have a place to hang the rings from. The bolts are extra long, so they act as a holder for the rings just to get them out of the way, give me a bit more height. And then on the back of the holder here, I've got 2 sets of hooks, and those hooks are just for attaching some resistance bands to. This is my pull-up bar. It attaches to the side of my climbing wall. I added these extra supports to keep the bar from snapping, as it's only 1 1/4 inches thick. I could have used a metal bar to combat this, but wood offers a much better grip when doing pull-ups. And of course, this is just as solid as the wall. You can see it easily holds my weight here. Building this whole thing by myself was really tough, but I finally finished. The whole apartment's around 550 square feet. There's still a lot of space around here, so I'm sure I'll build some more stuff in the future. I do want to rebuild a set of stall bars that I had built in a previous apartment, as I still have the wooden doweling for that. But for now, I'm just excited to get climbing. Thanks for watching.